We graded offseason trades. Now it's time to grade every free agent signing of the 2026 MLB offseason. Me and James are going to go through all the big ones, all the ones that matter, and give them a letter grade based on how good of a deal we think it is. Before we get going into it, make sure you guys are subscribed to the Windup so you don't miss out on any baseball content coming at you all year long. And again, keep an eye out for the podcast dropping soon. Spotify, Apple Music, all that stuff. Shout out our members. James, let's start off at the top. I think we're going to go by AAV. We're going to go down the list. And, of course, it starts with Kyle Tucker, who got a massive, massive deal from the Dodgers, 4 years, $240 million.
Yeah, just one of the most ridiculous deals in Major League history. It's the highest AAV in the history of the game. I think it's the most money up front in the history of the game. The $60 million AAV taken down to about $57 million present-day value by all the deferrals in it, because Kyle Tucker is going to get $3 million from the Dodgers every single year from ages 39 to 48. That's 2036 to 2045. But it's like, for them, who cares? You got a great player for a deal you wanted to get him on.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter for them with the money. They'll spend unlimited money. Kyle Tucker is a great player. I think I have a hard time giving this one an A again because he's the highest paid player per year basically in Major League Baseball, and he is not even close to the best player in the league. He's still great, but there's such a separation between like the top guys and him. That being said, the Dodgers got exactly what they needed. A problem for them last year was the outfield. They did not have very good outfielders, especially in the corner. Kyle Tucker's going to walk into that lineup and probably, what are you looking? Where are you going?
I had to plug my phone. I forgot.
Okay. I was like, where are you going? You're wandering off.
I'm here.
30 home runs a year, 100 RBIs, going to have an OPS starting around 900 in that lineup. You heard the conversations that he doesn't really want to be the star. He kind of wants to be a role character, maybe a supporting actor role. And Kyle Tucker's going to be that in LA. He's just going to stumble his way into having a phenomenal continuing of his career with the Dodgers.
It's just going to be a very easy, seamless fit. And this is a Dodgers team right now is trying to basically maximize like a 5-year window to win as many World Series as possible. And not that the roster was even getting close to being bad, but it was definitely beginning to show more cracks as Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman age, and Shohei Ohtani's now over 30 years old. And some of these hitting prospects haven't converted super well recently. I'm sure they will, and I'll be eating my words in a few years. But it's just, they want to win the World Series. They're one of the few teams that's their goal. Not few teams, like 10 teams, that's their goal. And this, to me, today, is still going to help them it's going to make them the best team in baseball by a wide margin.
Yeah, I'm gonna just put it a B, as I think Kyle Tucker's an A player, but again, this is an insane amount of money. Even if the Mets signed him, it would have been like, this is a crazy amount of money to give it to Kyle Tucker. But you go out, you get your guy. It's a good move for the Dodgers. I give it a B. All right, James, now we get to talk about our Mets. Bo Bichette, 3 years, $126 million. We know that there's opt-outs. We know that this really isn't actually what the contract is. That being said, it is still an insane deal that the Mets gave him.
Insane deal the Mets gave him, especially the fact that it's a 1-year deal that he can opt out of technically off a qualifying offer. So the Mets sacrificed a draft pick to give Bo Bichette this deal. But then if things don't go well for Bo Bichette and he doesn't want to opt out, like he gets his player options to opt back in at a $40 million luxury tax hit and a $55 million against their payroll. Like this is with a full no trade clause involved with this as well. Like this is besides Kyle Tucker, I think these are two of the most player-friendly contracts that have ever been signed in the history of the sport. I'm kind of shocked they both happened the way they did.
Yeah, for two guys coming off injury-riddled seasons in a way where Bo Bichette at the end of the year wasn't moving well, and now the Mets are going to play him at a new position where so far the videos that we've seen, he doesn't look the sharpest at third base. He's got time. Not giving up hope there. I like Bo Bichette as a player. I think it was a good player move, but again, for the money that they're paying Bo Bichette, it feels insane. This one feels like not a particularly good contract, honestly, if you're from the Mets perspective.
Well, again, because it's very hyper player focused, but also at the same time, the worst case scenario for the Mets is that you bought the prime of Bo Bichette's career.
Yes.
You have Bo Bichette's age 28, 29, age 30 seasons. As a bat, as a hitter, Bo Bichette looks like he can still be easily one of the best in the league. I know he had that one bad year mixed in 2 years ago, but besides that, he's been one of the best hitters in baseball over the last 5 years. One of the most consistent, especially with his his unique approach and style with it. Like, he also has the weird buyout in this, where he gets a $5 million buyout with each option, and if he does opt out, he gets $5 million extra at the Mets defer. $1 million a year for 5 years, but between 2036, 2040. It's just, again, this is a bizarre, strange contract. The only thing that makes it make a little more sense is the fact that Tucker signed an evening before, but this is still a B for me because the Mets just need another good right-handed bat. Like that's what they got.
Yeah, I'm gonna go C. It's not that I'm against Bo Bichette by any means. It's just I don't know if he'll ever truly be worth it. And I am worried about the fact that coming off an injury and the fact that he's playing a new position, if he just has a bad year, you're on the hook again for another $40 million on Bo Bichette, who all of a sudden you're like, where does he play in the field?
It's possible, yeah. Or again, you just DH and hope for the best.
Yes, and that's why I give it a C. It's like, let me see what you got before I really make an opinion on the Bichette contract, because on the surface level, it does feel insane. Framber, Valdez, 3 years, $115 million going to the Detroit Tigers. One of the highest paid pitchers in baseball in terms of AAV. I believe the highest paid Latino pitcher ever in terms of AAV.
And lefty, I believe.
And lefty. Okay, sneak that in there.
Until Skubal next year.
Yeah, Skubal's going to absolutely demolish that. But this was a move that we've talked about a lot recently, because it's one of the last move that actually matters that's happened. Great move for the Tigers. And I'll tell you what, on this contract, I don't hate how much he's getting paid either. Like, he probably, again, won't pitch like an ace, and this is ace money. But at the same time, he's still like a top 20, top 25 starter, I think, in baseball.
Yeah, and a guy like Framber is like, there probably were a lot more of these similar-ish deals with Bo available, or one-year deal. But it's like, how much better are you going to look coming off of now your age 32 season rather than your age 31 season with swing and miss falling down a little bit? Like, did you just want to not... Do you just want to get make people forget about the catcher cross up as much as possible? Like, here's I can guarantee myself $115 million, and there's a mutual option for the 4th year of this. Like, that's cool for everybody. Funny also too, just little contract details. A $20 million signing bonus that's deferred until 2030. So the year after this contract ends, the Tigers just going to drop $20 million on Framber Valdez, which is kind of hilarious. But it's just to me, this is just a really good deal the Tigers needed to make. It helps them for the year with Skubal. It helps them to get ready for life after Skubal. This is an A deal for me.
Yeah, I was going to put it in the A tier as well. It really does change how I feel about the Tigers moving forward in 2026. And on the short term for Framber, we were talking about it like for the Mets and all these other competitive teams. On a short-term deal, Framber's awesome. It's just if he wanted the 7 years like Dylan C. Scott, you would have felt insane.
And again, right now, looking at the way the offseason shook out, before the offseason, I would have told you, wow, the wrong pipe. I would have told you I would much rather have Cease and Framber. But now looking at the contracts they both signed, when it's all said and done, I might prefer Framber.
Yeah, there's definitely a chance that Framber's comes out better. Dude, this is a chaos episode. My neighbor next to me, it's, for those of you who don't know, there's been so much snow in New York, and it's really starting to melt, and he's just scraping the snow right now with a shovel, metal shovel, scraping it, driving me crazy. All right, Alex Bregman, 5 years, $175 million with the Chicago Cubs. This one, like, I'll say it this way. I don't know how perfect the fit is of Bregman to the Cubs, but I do think that Alex Bregman is a good fit to the Cubs. Is that a crazy sentence?
I think he's a good fit to the Cubs. I think he just fits what they are. He fits the other guys they have. Like, I think, Suarez to the Athletic comp this contract to Dansby Swanson, and I definitely see the similarities
I can buy that, yeah.
in the style of player, the style of expectation you want, the kind of high floor, good defense, good makeup guys, and then you're kind of willing to watch the bat deteriorate slowly over the course of the deal. Another one where just the deferrals were fat. $70 million out of the $175 million for Alex Bregman here with deferred. Again, it brings down his present day value a few million per year. He's going to be $32.5 million against luxury tax. But just this is a stable, able-bodied player that you get as a Cubs team that's intending to make a deep playoff run. He's going to fit that well.
Yeah, I think, again, like, Bregman is a good ball player. I'm interested to see what his numbers look like offensively in terms of the power output in Chicago. Feels like a B contract to me, like good. I don't know if it's one of the best contracts, but it's good.
I was going to say, it's an A contract. It's a good deal. It's just Bregman, like, the fact that you have good swing decisions, good defense, good leadership, like, those are things that age well. Like, those are things I'm fine to buy through an age 36 season. Those 34, 35, 36, you might have a 727 OPS, but it's just like I'm still okay to carry a big hit on Bregman to try and get 2 really good years here and see what I can make happen.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I lean the B. Just like those years down the line, but still, he is very good. Cody Bellinger, this is your favorite contract, James. I know you're excited to talk about this one. I'm excited to hear it because we got some good Yankee slander coming.
I just can't believe that the Yankees signed this contract. This is the genius and the expertise of Scott Boras still working again. Like, you think you work hard, Scott Boras working 25 times hard. Not many people on this earth are better at their jobs than Scott Boras is at his. For all these contracts that have been signed this offseason, all of the warts with Cody Bellinger's profile in his game, for him to get Bellinger a full no-trade clause, a player opt-out in 2 years, no deferred money, and a $45 million luxury tax hit at $32 million annually at first, but also that does taper down towards the end. So I guess that's how they did it by front loading this, which you don't see very often. It's just, talk about a good contract for a player. Unbelievable.
Yeah, super player friendly. I low-key like it. I think especially like in Yankee Stadium, I think the concerns with Bellinger's game kind of go away because he's just made to play there. Like, I think if the Mets or the Phillies or the Astros or the Dodgers like brought him in, I don't know if I'd like this contract as much because I firmly believe Cody Bellinger for his time with the Yankees, he's just going to hit 30 home runs a year, play premium outfield defense in the corner, steal some bags, play some first base, just be an all-around good player. And I do think that, again, the luxury tax it makes it worse, but like at $32.5 million a year before the luxury tax, I do think it's a pretty good contract.
Yes, he is very incentivized to opt out of the deal. Again, I don't know if he will, but entering his age 32 season, his salary drops down about 10 mil. Like he'll be making under $30 million, which by then we don't even know what the CBA or if there is a salary cap, what any of this stuff looks like. But just they are pushing him to make this a 2-year, like $80 million contract, basically.
Do we know of any of the competing offers? Because it kind of feels like the next one that we'll talk about with Pete Alonso, where it feels like the Yankees kind of outbid themselves in a way. I don't know.
That was kind of my point.
Was anybody near even 5 for 150?
I mean, apparently they were. Apparently there was a hot market for him the whole time, but we know the Mets kind of bowed out because they signed Luis Robert the day before this contract was signed. Or traded for him, sorry. But like this, that didn't seem like there was a hot market. But we heard reports there was a hot market, which is, again, why the devil works hard, but Scott Boras works significantly harder. He's unbelievable.
What's your grade for it, James?
C+. Like,
right,
again,
I'm going to give it a B.
Like, I think Bellinger is a flawed player, but like you said, Yankee Stadium perfectly masks every single flaw, and he should just be a very productive guy in that lineup.
Pete Alonso, Mets to the Orioles, 5 years, $155 million. I told you guys he was getting $150 million. Was there any reason he should have? Absolutely not. No. I stumbled into being right on that one because talk about the Orioles bidding against themselves. Everything that we've heard is that nobody was close to this contract offer.
No one at all. But this was so far out of the range the Mets were willing to go that the report got caught like wildfire. They never made a formal offer, just because you don't make a formal offer when your formal offer is 3 years and $120 million. When someone's offering 5 and 150 like this, but this is good for the Orioles. We've seen great videos and reports out of O's camp that Pete has just fit like a glove in with the squad over there with Jordan and Gunnar and Jackson, the whole crew, and Taylor. But it still feels to me like a weird fit because now it feels like the Orioles are still kind of chasing their tail, trying to find a trade partner for either Ryan Mountcastle or Kobe Mayo. And again, like Pete's a much, much, much better hitter than those guys, and he will possibly get near leading the league in RBIs again. He could possibly get near 40 home runs again, but it's still a weird fit for a team that it's kind of still going into the season with a bit of an incomplete roster.
Like, yes and no. I think they're almost at a benefit now that they can just trade those guys. Like, maybe they're not going to get the peak value because everyone knows in the league that they're trying to get rid of them and trying to move on. But we know that you can still recoup good value for guys that everybody in the league knows you do not want. We see it happen all the time with the Yankees and the Dodgers. They have plenty of guys that they have no interest in having. And for some reason, these idiot teams come around and are like, give me Nestor Cortez and we'll give you good baseball players back. Like, I don't know how they keep doing it. And I got a feeling the Orioles eventually will be able to do that. Pete probably, again, never lives up to like the actual value of what this contract is. But in terms of what he can do for the Orioles and how he does make this lineup possibly one of the best lineups in baseball in terms of offense, I do think this is a good deal. Again, I won't be going into the A tier. The A is going to be saved for very special contracts. But I think this is a B with the caveat that the Orioles definitely overpaid. There's no doubt this was a massive overpay.
Yeah, this contract will be won or lost in the first 3 years if the Orioles can make a run. Like, Pete Alonso has to kind of transcend this lineup for the next 3 years, which is why I'm giving it a C+, because this is where you look at process and you think about a team like the Orioles again. I'm not talking about the fact that Pete, again, is worse than those first basemen they had, but Jordan Westburg, again, is entering the season possibly unhealthy with another soft muscle injury. And unless they move Gunnar back over there at third base, like is Jeremiah Jackson getting third base reps? They just traded for Blaze Alexander. They had to dump assets to get a backup kind of infielder with no options. Like, it seems like they've overweighted certain positions on their roster, and they haven't really acquired the depth that is possibly necessary in other places. With C+ contract for me, because again, I think their roster's weird, the fit's weird, but he's great, so C+.
Kyle Schwarber, 5 years, $150 million back with the Phillies. I think this one's just plain and simple a good contract. Again, Kyle Schwarber feels like he's just going to hit 40 home runs a year until he stops playing baseball. He's got the softball swing, crazy bat speed, great plate discipline. There's no signs of slowing down for Schwarber coming off of a career season.
There are some signs of slowing down for sure.
What, though?
It's not that there's signs of slowing down. It's just signs about how much he has sped up into his early 30s. Like, that's the part that's going to be fun to watch as a guy like Kyle Schwarber turns 35, 36, 37 years old. Because, like, 2 years ago, he had 197 batting average and a 340 on base percentage. He still hit 50 homers. But I'm just saying, like, if he does that again this coming season, it's like, oh, Like, what did we just buy? I do think this is great. There's also a really funny bonus in the Kyle Schwarber contract where if he wins DH of the year, he gets $59,000.
There's a DH of the year award? I didn't even know that's a thing.
Allegedly, that's the contract notes on Spotrac, which I think is kind of hilarious. But this is going to be a fascinating contract to watch age. It's also, this was one that was very competitive. There were lots of teams into this. He kind of seems like gave the Phillies like the right of the final offer to only beat them by a little bit between the Pirates, who I think came in last. The Reds were somehow in pursuit. The Mets were legitimately in pursuit. It's just a good deal. Again, another guy's a great leader. The bat speed is so high that he likely ages pretty gracefully. But I am curious about a 36 and 37-year-old DH who's going to make $30 million a year.
Yeah, we do know that sometimes it just falls off the cliff once you hit a certain age. It's just it's hard to keep that kind of athleticism and strength. That being said, for the guy who literally will never step on the field unless he's hitting, I do feel pretty good about it. Like, if Big Poppy could do it, I think Kyle Schwarber could.
100%. That's the comp of this deal. Like, Schwarber's he's increased his bat speed a lot in the last few years. So again, Schwarber's athletic freak. Like, people forget he was a legit football recruit. Like, the guy's
catcher in college.
Catcher, linebacker, like, this guy's an animal. Like, he also just is a perfect fit for that team in the Philadelphia. Like, perfect personality fit, great leadership fit. Like, again, maybe the leadership stuff comes to question about how that last season ended, but to me, this is still an A contract.
Yeah, I was going to give it an A as well. It's also funny looking back at those two, Pete and Kyle Schwarber. There's 100% a conversation that Pete had where I need to make $1 million a year more than the DH who just got paid all that money.
I think similar, again, we always talk about it, but like the Fernando Tatis Jr. signing his contract out of nowhere right when Lindor got traded to the Mets, and they were like, all right, hold on, rip it up. I gotta make more than this 23-year-old.
Yeah, I think these players do keep an eye on that kind of stuff, and the agents. But yeah,
sure.
I think it is an A. Dylan Cease to the Blue Jays, 7 years, $210 million, $30 million a year AAV. Do we got deferrals or anything quirky in there, James?
Oh yeah, big deferrals in this one. So it brings down the present day value. The total deferrals, I think, it's about $5 million a year. It goes down to $4.5 million a year. That gets paid out over 14 years until he's 50 years old, 2046. So the present day value comes down to $187 million and $26.75 million a year, which is eerily similar with just an extra 2 years on it to the Ranger Suarez contract, almost the exact same AAV. And I think that we're both on the record saying that we'd much prefer Dylan Cease to Ranger Suarez. And this is with those deferrals. I know that some people, when they make content, and we get chastised about this in the comments sometimes, talk about like the real money, not deferrals. The only thing these people in the front office care about is the deferrals. If anyone mentions a $210 million contract for Dylan Cease, and someone in the Blue Jays front office happens to be in the same bar, restaurant, media pit as you, they'll be like, oh, 187 present day value, and that's kind of just what they should be regarded as. And for that, it's a steal for Dylan Cease.
Oh yeah, at that price, it's an A. Like, I know he stunk it up last year with the Padres, but we also know that the underlying stuff says that he was a little bit unlucky, and he's been a great pitcher in the past. He strikes a ton of guys out. He's been durable. This is a classic, I think, idiot meter test here, where it's like you saw one bad ERA and you said Dylan Cease stinks.
Not one bad ERA, like 3 bad ERAs in 5 years.
But the good stuff, stuff's elite.
Yeah.
And even in those bad years, he still had stuff that was really, really good. It just seemed like around him wasn't as strong.
It's basically the Carlos Rodon contract with the Yankees, which we also both liked at the time. Like,
Loved
hasn't looked good recently.
Looked good last year.
Until this past season. And Cease was 1 year younger than Rodon was at the time and also signed for 1 year longer.
And way less injury history.
No injury history. But again, you're only as healthy as your last season. But I think to me, it's an A contract. It's still a really, really, really great deal that was signed, and the market was jumped on it pretty efficiently.
Especially because now we're going to talk about Ranger Suarez's contract, which I think we both openly did not particularly care for. It's not about anything more than this is where you spent all that money. 5 years, $130 million, 26 AAV. It's not crazy. Like, he's a free agent pitcher who's had a low ERA, who's been pretty good over the last 3 years. He's a big game pitcher. Everybody in the comments likes to tell us he's one of the best postseason pitchers of all time. And it's like, yeah, the Phillies have really done a lot of noise. But Ranger Suarez, I don't know. I don't want Ranger Suarez on my team at this price. But maybe for the Red Sox, he makes sense.
Yeah, it's just this contract is funny because of the way that some of these contracts offseason has such insane deferrals. And again, that makes you think that the market was kind of hot in Ranger Suarez.
Yeah.
We don't know because we're on. You drinking a Dr. Pepper?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's my monthly soda. I haven't been having good BMs, so I had to get something moving.
That's crazy. But oh god, what a fun chaos video this is. But just the fact that again that Cease contract deferrals took it down to basically the exact same AAV and a similar amount of years, one more year, but also 1 year younger than Ranger Suarez at the time of signing. to me, it's just you're relying a lot, and it's going to be interesting to see Ranger Suarez go to a team where it's not like the Phillies had good defense, but there were definitely a lot of spots in the field where the Phillies had good defense. I think the Red Sox will wind up having better defense than the Phillies. Another difficult place to hit, especially right-handed batters. I'm going to see how they do against Ranger, but he has so many tools, he has so many weapons, and I just do believe that the Red Sox have a plan to increase his velo back to the 92-mile-an-hour range.
That's the scary part, is that if he throws slow, he's just not going to be that good. It's not really possible.
He'll still be fine, but like there's a line you get to as a starting pitcher in this league, and I talked about it in a video on my channel. I got destroyed for it online, but once you get below 91, 90 and a half, like it's just hard to be successful for a long period of time, especially over the course of a 5-year deal with a 6-year mutual option. So it's just a situation where I'm sure they have a plan, so I'm willing to trust them, but I'm still probably going to give this contract a C.
I was going to give it a C as well, in that you have to pay for pitching. Like, there was no world that Ranger Suarez was signing for $22 million a year. So then what are we really talking about?
Yeah.
I think this is a whatever contract.
Hairs.
Yeah.
It's a fine one. He probably helps them a lot next 3 years. Again,
Yes.
similar to that Schwarber or that Pete deal.
Michael King, going back to the Padres, 3 for $75. This was someone who, again, I think a lot of people on the free agent market were particularly interested in, but because he had the qualifying offer attached, it felt like it was going to be difficult. And ultimately, like, talk about a contract that the Padres needed to bring back. They had to have Michael King, because imagine what that pitching would look like without him. At the same time, I don't love what I saw at the end of the year, and I am a little concerned about him. Still, though, I find myself in the same range of Ranger of, like, I need to see what changes you're gonna make in 2026.
I kind of, at the same time, love and hate this contract. Just because, again, like you said, the Padres couldn't really go into the season without him, just considering the other options they had in their pitching depth. And now they've really filled up that pitching depth. Walker Buehler and Herman Marquez. Like, that's a squad over there now. But like, Michael King just gives you the upside. Like, he definitely still has the highest upside in that rotation. And the fact that you had the ability to offer him the qualifying offers, you can give him this 1-year opt-out that I'm sure a lot of other teams are not willing to do. It's great. You could get the upshot on Michael King. But for Michael King's sake, if he gets injured, he gets to opt back in and get $25 million next year. Yeah. And if he's good, he just gets to opt out and sign a big deal with no qualifying offers. It's great for him.
Yeah, no, this is a great contract for Michael King. And it's not a bad contract by any means.
Not at all.
Because it's shorter term, I put it in B over Ranger, and the fact that we've seen Michael King be a top pitcher in the game, that's exciting. Yeah, one time. Hey, that's more than Ranger.
Definitely. To me, this is a B+. Like this, I think Michael King easily could still like get his way into the top 15 pitchers in the league with just being healthy.
Edwin Diaz, 3 for $69 million. Nice. Left the Mets, went to the Dodgers. Really hurt my soul. But ultimately, this is the most money that you've seen AAV-wise for a relief pitcher ever. And he's really good. As much as I want to be like, you overpaid, this is ridiculous, Edwin Diaz is so good. And while the velos ticked down a slight bit over the last few years, still gets an incredible amount of swing and miss, still absolutely nails at the end of the game. I love Edwin, and I would be a hypocrite if I gave this anything but an A.
No, it was a great deal, especially the deferrals bring this present-day value again down a good bit. He's in the range of – he's still well above the other relievers in the game, but it's not well above to the point where it's like kind of like how it looks on paper, or even how just the last deal with the Mets look. The fact is only a 3-year contract. I really can't –
who cares?
You really can't say anything about it. Like it's he's also getting deferred money until he's 53 years old on this contract.
Good for Sugar.
He's going to get $450,000 in 2047 when he's 53.
That's crazy.
Which is crazy. But like this is also – there's a big bet by the Dodgers and Edwin Diaz's health, because we saw as Mets fans that when that patellar tendon went, 2024 was a fucking journey for Edwin Diaz. By the end, we were good. But the beginning and sometimes in the middle didn't feel that nice. So I'm happy that he was able to get that deal. And then, I mean, this is the one hole the Dodgers plugged up. But the fact it's only 3 years when the early rumors were 5 is an easy A.
Yeah, easy A for me. Not really much to talk about. Do we say Trent Grisham? No, right? That's not really a contract.
I mean, it kind of was. You want to just get a bunch of the qualifying guys together. Grisham, Gleyber Torres, Shota Imanaga. I think that was all of them, correct?
Yeah, sure. Let's just do each of these guys that we're about to mention that took the qualifying offer are getting 1 year, $22 million. Trent Grisham, C. I think he's fine. I think this contract's not nearly as bad as people make it, but it also definitely forced the Yankees' hand a little bit.
I'm very curious because we'll never know, but I would love to know what Grisham would have gotten on the open market this offseason, because I don't think he would have been really necessarily regarded as a center fielder.
No.
I think the Yankee Stadium does weird shit with OAA, though, where I think he's probably a fine center fielder, but there's just less surface area to get a ball in center field that hurts your OAA a bit, because there's something in the gap.
And the gaps are huge, though.
The gaps are huge, but I think there's literally less surface area in the outfield of Yankee Stadium than any other field in baseball. This is a reverse of your take about Brenton Doyle and Coors, because Coors has the most surface area of any outfield in baseball. This was the old thing with DRS back in the day. Remember Matt Chapman and Matt Olson?
Yeah, how I was
Coliseum?
like, they would put up the craziest DRS numbers. It's like, I think it's because they're catching foul balls that literally can't be caught in other stadiums.
There's probably a teeny part of that, but I think that hurts Trent Grisham sometimes when we look at OAA for center fielder. I think he could be a center fielder for the next 2 years. I think that's why the Yankees wanted him and offered him this just to begin with. And he looked really good at the plate last year.
He's great. He's a great leadoff hitter for them.
Like, the fact that he can run a 350 on base and pop 30 homers like that, like, he could have gotten like a 4 or 5 year contract in the open market. There weren't really a lot of outfielders in whatever tier that you believe Trent Grisham to be a part of that wound up being available. It's hard to give a comp after the fact, but Yankees got to be happy he's back. B.
Yeah, I went C just because I'm like, I do have some questions of, can he do it again? I just want to see if Trent Grisham's going to do it again. I feel more confident in Bellinger than him.
Oh, yeah, not even close, but still, both of them, it's like, we'll see.
Gleyber Torres, 1 year, $22 million. This is one I'm going to give like C+ range. Like, similarly, again, you had to do it if you're the Tigers, and this isn't a bad deal, but does Gleyber get $20 million a year on the open market? I don't think so.
Probably not, but he probably gets 3 years for like $18 million per. You know what I mean?
I was going to say like 3 for $45 to $50 million.
I mean, Jorge Polanco, we're going to talk about him soon. He got 2 years of $20 million per. So, like, Gleyber probably could have gotten something similar. Gleyber just like no one makes better swing decisions right now, basically in the league, than Gleyber Torres. But he just there's no more power left.
No, he's a floor guy.
Yes, you're running. You're going to run 260 batting average, like a 350 on base. That's awesome to have for 20 mil.
I'll give it C+.
Yeah, I was going to give it B.
Shota Imanaga, 1 year, $22 million.
Weird.
Yeah, whatever. C. Again, I kind of don't care.
Yeah, C+. I think it's fine. It was a lot of rigmarole at the beginning of the offseason.
Nice word.
Nice, thank you for that. When the Cubs declined his long option, he declined the option back, whichever way that worked out. He's going to be a free agent next year, and he's just a guy that has a lot to prove.
Yeah, he might stink.
It might completely fall off a cliff, and also, but it might not. He's a guy that I want to believe in until it really falls over, but the playoffs, he was unpitchable. That's kind of a bad omen.
Yeah, we talked about it on Mets Up a lot when the Mets were interested in him. I'm like, he's almost too unique, where I'm like, why isn't there a pitcher like him? And I think we're starting to see why a little bit.
Especially at the velocity that he's at.
Zack Gallen, 1 year, $22 million. You know what? C again, whatever. Who cares? Like, all the qualifying offer ones, and you kind of notice this, the guys who take the qualifying offers almost have to, because that's going to be the best deal they get. And Zack Gallen, I don't think is going to get a better deal right now than that.
I mean, he tried. He spent months. He didn't actually take the qualifying offer. The Diamondbacks just literally re-offered him the qualifying offer.
Yeah, I mean, that's the same. I think because it expires technically, but...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It expires, but he wound up getting, again, the exact same rate as a qualifying offer that he turned down. But he was like, yeah, I guess the market didn't really want me.
See?
Yeah, I mean, it's good. They needed him.
It's honestly, it's good for him, too. He has a chance to prove himself, because if he pitches well again, he's going to get paid more next offseason.
Zack Gallen is still 30 years old, right? 31 years old?
Right. I think he's a year older than us, so I think 30, 31.
31, yeah. So he's still a guy that could get like a 4-year contract next offseason if he just shows. He's 30 right now, and his birthday is... He's 1995, yeah. So this is age 30 season technically still. So he's like, especially if he shows you at least he could be a workhorse again, like someone will pay him.
Yeah, no, they definitely will. Ha-Seong Kim, sticking with the Braves, 1 year, $20 million. I mean, it's hard to give a 1 year deal an F, but I'm going to, because
he might miss most of the season.
Even if he was healthy, I don't think Ha-Seong Kim's even close to a $20 million player.
Ha-Seong Kim, there was a $20 million option somewhere.
Yeah, and he declined it, and then
he got it back.
They just gave it back, and I was confused because I was like, why did he decline it? And then why did the Braves say, we still want to pay you that much? I don't get it. And now with the injury news, I mean, this is a clear F.
Well, now we know that, but I think it's hard to grade this now that we know he broke his finger. Like, we didn't know that when he signed the deal.
Even before that, though, $20 million is crazy for him.
I just think the fact that last year he showed the arm strength had reverted back after it was a shoulder injury, if I'm not mistaken. We talked about this beginning of the offseason so much. The shortstop scarcity right now is insane.
It's nuts.
If you don't have one, you're not going to get one, especially if you don't have one in your organization already.
How much better is he going to be than Mauricio Dubon?
I think a good bit. I mean, 2 years ago, Ha-Seong Kim was sick. And then the injuries have started to pile up, and he's still only 30. I could definitely see Ha-Seong Kim being someone who's a 110 WRC plus positive profile defender.
Yeah, I like the glove. I don't know how much I buy in the bat now, a couple years later, but yeah, this one's an F for me.
I'm gonna give it a C because I thought the process was good enough. But yeah, him falling and breaking his finger is pretty rough.
Jorge Polanco, 2 years, $40 million to the Mets. Whoa, what the
still,
hell?
I still don't know what to say. I'm more excited to talk about these in a year from now, so we can actually have some data on them. Because right now I'm just like I don't know.
And maybe this guys will give you a little insight into what we think. I'm going to give this one a C because I don't know what to think. So that should probably tell you that I feel a little bit weird about this one.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Like Jorge Polanco is just his knees are bad every single year, but he's on the field, he's awesome, and now he's gonna play first base.
Yeah, which is crazy because
the whole thing's very weird. But you know what? I'm very excited to root for Jorge Polanco.
Yeah, rooting for Jorge, but I'm going to give that one a C to be nice because we're biased Mets fans.
Yeah, I think C's very fair enough.
Merrill Kelly, 2 years, $40 million back to the Diamondbacks. He said, "Run it back." One of the best pitchers in Diamondbacks postseason history. Shout out Merrill Kelly. Like this team's so bad. Probably didn't need to sign Merrill Kelly, just stink it up still. I don't know. They went from, this makes them what, like a 78 win team instead of like 72?
But again, this team, yes, but I think it's a huge difference because this team wants to tread water until you could possibly get Corbin Burns back in like July. So I think that Merrill Kelly and Zack Gallen, they're really good guys at helping you tread water. Like Merrill Kelly's just, he just goes out there and pitches. Like you love Merrill Kelly if he's on your favorite team, which is always the Diamondbacks.
Unless you were the Rangers last year and he stunk.
Yes, terrible. It's also, this is one of those funny stories of a guy getting traded and going back home.
Yeah.
There were also, I think he said the Padres offered him a better deal, but he's like, I just want to go back to Arizona. Family likes it there.
Yeah, I don't blame him. It's a good place to be.
And again, he's going to give you some changeups, some cutters, some sinkers. Like it's going to be a fun night at the ballpark when Merrill's on the mound.
Chris Bassitt, 1 year, $18.5 million to the Orioles, James. Yeah, this is a contract.
I think this is almost an A, especially based on what they needed. Like the Orioles were so desperate, starving for innings.
Yes, I mean, we joke about how it's like you're going to try Cade Povich again. Like we just know he doesn't really have it right now. Chris Bassitt is not exciting, but he's 180 innings at 4.2 ERA. Perfect.
And at least he's like spent the last few years in the American League East, and he didn't get bombarded. And you also saw last year, like if you do get to the playoffs as an Orioles team that wants to get to the playoffs, you throw a Bassitt Hound in the bullpen, and he's an animal.
Elite vibes guy too.
Yeah, so this is like as a cheap starting pitcher / playoff swingman, great deal. He's an A for me.
Yeah, I could go A with you there too. It looks crazier than it actually is. Again, pitching is expensive.
Very expensive.
Josh Naylor, 5 years, $92 million. One of the first deals of the offseason. Might have even been the first. He went back to Seattle, stayed there. I think this is a good deal. It's like they're kind of not paying him any amount of money you would ever get concerned about.
No, not so much. He has a signing bonus. He also has a full no trade clause, which I think is interesting. It's a fair deal, but I do think that a team like the Mariners, who probably wants to keep down their year-to-year spending, they probably gave him an extra year that I'm sure they didn't want to. He's also only 28, but it's just the guys, we're a big bat speed channel here. And it's like when guys have bat speed like that's already creeping below 71 miles per hour, I am curious about what you look like at age 33 if it keeps going down. But also, like, Naylor is just such a ball hound.
He is. He's like, he's like a borderline top 10 first baseman. Like he constantly every year just hits well. Like you look back at the end of the season, the numbers end up being good. It doesn't look pretty.
So he's different.
It's in a different way. Sometimes he gets for more power. Sometimes he doesn't strike out. He stole bases in Seattle at the end of the year. Don't know how he did it, but he did it.
30.
Yeah, which is insane. I do like this contract though. I think it's an A for the Mariners, truthfully.
I was gonna say B just because again, to marry low bat speed and a bad chase rate over a 5-year deal can scare me. But like Naylor continues to prove that wrong. He's still 28, but still, I'm trying not to let how much I like the player cloud the judgment of like what the data says about the
process.
player.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tatsuya Imai, 3 years, $54 million. Again, we know that this is probably a 1-year contract.
Which it seems like people around the league were just shocked that the Astros actually offered them a 1-year deal just because of how desperate they were. And also Imai, I think, because he's coming in a little bit weird in terms of what his pitch mix is, how his pitches move, he wanted the chance to prove himself and get back on the market relatively soon. So I think for him it's great. And for the Astros, they needed a pitcher who could give them some floor and some upside.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say this one's an A in my opinion. I know I haven't been a big Imai pusher by any means. I have my doubts big time on what he's going to look like at the major league level, but starting pitching isn't cheap. And to get a guy who maybe has a pretty decent ceiling, I think it's worth the risk 100%.
We know that Imai has big innings escalators inside of this contract. So for it's not for this season, but if he opts in for 2027, he has to go above $80 million to get an extra million, 90 innings for another million, and 100 innings for another million. So if he gets to over 100 innings, it's $3 million. That pushes his money from $18 million to $21 million, which it changes the tier of pitchers. That's like starting out at Bassitt and getting up closer to just like a tier below the Suarez and the Dylan Ceases of the world. But also, they're questionable spots to put innings limits here.
Yeah, it seems
if you're expecting a full-time starting pitcher.
Yeah, it seems quite low. Like you're like, we'll make you $21 million a year if you throw 100 innings. You're like, really? That's it?
That's them admitting there's probably some reliever risk at Tatsuya Imai, which is, again, when he was getting those 7-year, $200 million contracts at the beginning of the offseason, I was like, there's just no way this happens.
Shout out to the windup. We never believed that nonsense. We were like, this guy? I don't know about that.
I don't think so. I don't think it's going to happen.
Speaking of other contracts we never believed for a second, Munetaka Murakami, 2 years, $34 million to the White Sox. I'm going to jump the gun. Love this deal for the White Sox. This is an easy, overwhelming A. I don't care if Murakami ends up stinking, being horrible. There's a chance that he never hits at the major league level consistently. The ceiling potential for a guy like Murakami on this deal is incredible, and the fact that you could trade him away on this contract, you might get a haul back if you make it to the right team.
He also has the opportunity, because there were some questions about him and his skill set, for him to prove himself for these 2 years and still be able to get back on the market as a rising 28-year-old. You can tell Munetaka Murakami, if you give him the Josh Naylor contract that was just signed, this whole thing's success. And I just there's not many players I'm more excited to watch this year than Murakami, just because of how wide this range of outcomes is. Like he could be horrible.
Yeah.
He could also hit 40 home runs. I would not be close surprised.
He could be Adam Dunn.
100%. That'd be great. I mean, I think like the 50th percentile outcome, I think the IQ Cosmopolitan said it was like Pedro Alvarez.
Yeah.
And that's great. But like also like there's a 90th percentile outcome where he just becomes like Rafael Devers.
And you're like, oh my God, I can't believe this guy's available. How much money is he going to get now?
That's what I'm saying. Like he has the opportunity to do that if he can prove himself against the major league pitching and see if he can be more like he was as a 22 and 23-year-old rather than a 24 and 25-year-old.
Yeah, so I'm giving it an A. Yeah.
Hard A.
Devin Williams to the Mets, 3 years, $51 million. This is the move that apparently pissed off Edwin Diaz because he wasn't hip to the move coming. He's got to get over that. But, Devin Williams had a bad year with the Yankees.
Dude, a third of this contract is deferred.
Is it really?
$15 million of the $51 million is deferred. That brings that brings Devin Williams his present day value down to like $12.5, $13 million a year.
Oh, then that's a great deal.
I was saying it to you at the time. This is
fantastic. That was months ago.
Deal. Tremendous deal. This is the first big one of the offseason. But this is just like, this is what you want to do. Like you hope a buy low this obvious falls into your lap. It's just about trusting the makeup of the player. Because I think that's oddly the inflection point with Devin Williams. Like there were times last year when he was struggling, and he probably didn't deserve to struggle as much as he did, given where his swing and miss stuff was, where he kind of freaked out a little bit.
And he's had history of freaking out at times. So
that's where the risk more so is. I'm not very afraid of Devin Williams on the field, but I am just a teeny tiny bit worried about if he can maintain the mental makeup to continue to forge ahead and be a great player. But I would not be close surprised if he's a top 5 closer in the league.
He was prior to going to the Yankees. He was supposed to be their closer. So like there are a lot of things that can happen where Devin Williams goes back. I'm going to give it a B though. I just prove it to me until I see it happen. I'm just happy about the move. I'm not ecstatic.
I'm giving an A for all that deferred money because that's just like it's crazy if the present day value is that low.
We're going to pair these two together. Raisel Iglesias, 1 year, $16 million, and Robert Suarez, 3 for $45. The Braves said, let's have one of the oldest back ends of the bullpen in Major League Baseball, and they're good. Both these guys are very good. If I was a Braves fan, this is one of the few things I wouldn't be worried about going into the season.
Oh, no, for sure. I think a lot of teams were hot after Robert Suarez. I think the Braves giving him a third year was a little bit bold, but also like he still throws 100.
Yeah, until he doesn't, he's going to be good.
Like, why not? I think Robert Suarez doesn't get the respect he deserves for being one of the most consistent and kind of just nasty relievers over the last 3 years since he came back from the NPB in the league. And you kind of want to get this flamethrower at the back of your bullpen. The Braves really just did not have that. Still lots of holes and problems with this team, but this was one where, especially at the time when you thought all their pitchers were healthy, it's like the ceiling of this team was a World Series contender. I think that is where they still intend to be. We'll see what the pitching gets them there, but this is together, getting that back in the bullpen back together, I think I give them an A. But last year, Robert Suarez contract, you'll deal with that when you get to it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I was going to give it an A. Just lock down 8 and 9th innings for the Braves. You're gonna win those baseball games more likely than not with those guys. So definitely good moves. Eugenio Suarez, 1 year, $15 million to the Cincinnati Reds. One of my favorite contracts all offseason. I love this move by the Reds. I think this is awesome. Talk about value and just changing the way that a lineup feels. They lack that pop. Eugenio Suarez, regardless of what his on base is going to be, because that's the one thing that we could talk about as like a negative, he's going to hit 40 home runs as long as he's healthy. He is going to do that with ease.
And he's going to be a sensational vibes guy in the clubhouse of a young team who's coming off some not unprecedented, but slightly surprising success last season and reaching the postseason. And you kind of you should want to be able to build on that momentum. And they really kind of fumbled the opportunity to build on that with a stronger offseason, but still getting Eugenio at the end for $15 million. Like, that's outrageously good. And
that's a deal like I'm upset the Mets didn't go after. Like, I would have loved him to be the DH for $15 million.
I bet the Mets did go after it slightly.
But I mean, we do know that he loved Cincinnati. He was happy to go back, so that probably played into it.
The Pirates allegedly offered him more years and more money, and he was like, I just want to be back with the Reds. And I think it's easy to forget because of how horrible the end of the season was for Eugenio Suarez. Basically, since he got traded to the
Mariners.
Yeah, to the Mariners on that. I'm trying to scroll because I made a cool table on it, but I cannot find which article I
He was horrible. He was so bad.
Was unplayable. I think it was like a 290 on base percentage in the second half. It was here it is. So the first half for Eugenio Suarez, 95 games, 250 average, 320 slugging, 320 on base, 570 slug, 31 homers, 890 OPS. Second half, so just use the All-Star break as a split. 196, 267, 463 triple slash, 267 on base percentage with 18 homers, still 730 OPS, which is hilarious. Just to show how high the floor is with that power. He got hit in his hand twice. Don't you remember this?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Once in the All-Star game, and then one like 2 days later.
I forgot about the All-Star game hitting the hand.
Yeah, so but on the All-Star game, he stayed in. Like, he made a play in the field after, so I think he was fine. But 2 weeks later, like 2 days before the trade deadline, he got hit again, same hand or same wrist. So I think he might have just been hurt.
Yeah.
Like, Seattle's a hard place to hit. I know he hit there in the past, so people assumed he'd be able to hit there again. But it's just like, I think Eugenio Suarez is just going to hit lots of home runs from the right side. Like, there's no doubt in that.
Yeah, I feel pretty confident about it. That's why I give it an A.
Oh, for sure.
JT Realmuto, 3 years, $45 million. This was the Mets signed Bo Bichette as a little bit of a tilt to Kyle Tucker. The Phillies' tilt to Bo Bichette not signing with them was signing JT Realmuto.
Get the band back together.
Yeah, let's run it back. Listen, the Phillies had to bring him back because they have no catcher and there's no catchers available that are good. Realmuto, I think, is a little underrated right now because people still thought like there was an overrating of him because he wasn't the old JT Realmuto, but now it's an underrating of him because he still is a good baseball player, still a net positive to this team. 3-year contract though is insane.
No, I don't want to cloud the way I still feel about JT Realmuto. And I also respect JT Realmuto as a catcher, as a baseball player, just having an amazing career. This might have been the worst contract handed out this offseason.
Which is crazy to say for 3 for 45, but like talk about no process here. There was none. It was just like, oh shit, we've got nothing. What do you want? And he was like 3 for 45. They're like, deal.
This is also when you kind of think about the way that you watch Dave Dombrowski run teams fall apart quickly.
This is why.
It's contracts like this that are on the books. You're like, why'd we sign that? The next guy coming in is like, what? This is the first F I'm giving out just because, again, like you lost all your leverage in 1 second, then you caved into every single demand the player had. The player is still a good player, and the player will help your team when you needed that player, but you did not handle the going about getting this player in any good way possible.
They're going to run JT Realmuto into the ground. I can't wait to see what that guy's knees look like at 40. This one's going to be an F.
He had 550 plate appearances last season.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's nuts.
And yeah, I mean, 2 years ago he got hurt for a little bit. He had 540 the year before, but like those are old legs. I still managed to run very quickly, but I don't know what this deal is going to look like.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that one in F. Kazuma Okamoto, 4 years, $60 million. This was the little bit of the under the radar one. Also, highest paid Japanese player this year. Who saw that one coming? I love this deal. I'm so in on Okamoto and the Blue Jays. I can't wait to see what Popkins can do with him. I think that there's a world where like we're gonna look at a crazy fun all-star year from Okamoto in Toronto.
I think I love the fact of how much momentum he has, especially like with that teams, those beat writers. The Blue Jays have a great social media presence. The players on that squad, like he's becoming like a star.
Yeah.
Like you talked about how manly of a man he was, and he was like giggling behind the scenes about it. Apparently, he's speaking a little bit of Spanish, which is insane.
Oh, que lo que papi.
Yeah, I think Murakami is too, and he dropped the que lo que in an interview yesterday, which killed me. But it's just like he seems like a good ball player. That 4th year is scary, and like the fact he's a right-handed hitter, I think the bottom could fall out. It also feels weird that the Blue Jays seemed like they kind of picked him over like Tucker, and Bo, which is
over Bo definitely.
Yeah, it's very interesting. They must really believe in defense that I know was a little bit more questioned from other organizations around the league, especially the Mets. I still kind of like it though. I'm gonna give it just a B because I like the player, but the contract does have some definite downsides to it.
This is an A for me. I love it. We're gonna be like,
We totally flipped on him this offseason.
yeah, we're gonna look back at this Okamoto and be like, that price, huh? I think he's gonna be that good. I'm all
You
in.
think he's that good? How many homers he hit?
28.
28 home
28
runs.
home runs. What's
Wow.
his? Can we get an over under on him? Where is it?
I'm sure it'll be like 24 and a half.
I'll search it. You introduce the next player.
Next player. Ryan O'Hearn, Mark's boy. 2 years,
Ooh.
$29 million to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Mark's Pittsburgh Pirates. This to me is a casual A, just
Yeah,
because
easy A.
like he oddly is like the best defender in this team now, which is kind of funny. He might wind up playing shortstop if Connor Griffin doesn't come up soon enough, but they need a good ball player. He's a great strong side platoon bat. Like when there's a right-handed pitcher on the mound, the Pirates could could actually drift into being an above average lineup when a righty's on the mound, which is unbelievable to even say out loud.
Yeah, like considering how bad their lineup was even just last year. I love this move of O'Hearn. And again, if the Pirates are so god awful, such a movable contract, teams will take him no problem. He's going to mash.
But he's going to have to play the outfield. Like I was being facetious saying he might have to play shortstop, but he will literally be playing the outfield on opening day. So
They've
decided
decided that
could be-
he's the guy.
Well, I mean, where's Spencer Harwood's going to play? But they signed Marcell Ozuna.
Oh, that's right. They signed the criminal F, by the way, there. Just real
Yeah.
quick. Marcell Ozuna F.
Jail tier.
That's tough for my Pirates. Tough that I'm going to have to be cheering for Ozuna. But
Like Lau's going to have to play second where he's not great. Horowitz is going to have to play first because Ozuna's
Jeez,
DH.
they're going to be so bad defensively.
This is going to be one of the worst defensive teams ever. So again, Ryan O'Hearn's playing shortstop. Don't be surprised on opening day, but it's going to be. I think it's still an A signing because at least it signaled effort from the Pirates at the time. But this defensively, they got the work cut out for them.
Yeah, A for me. Ryan O'Hearn, 30 home runs this year for the Pirates. All right. Few more. We got to kind of speed run these last few because now we're really getting into like the granular signings here that are basically not needle movers for any team.
Yeah, 30 seconds each.
Yeah, 30 seconds each. Ryan Helsley, 2 years, $28 million to the Baltimore Orioles. As bad as it was for the Mets, we've joked about it before. Wouldn't be surprised if he goes back to being a top closer again in baseball because he throws 102 miles an hour. That being said, there's also a world where Ryan Helsley is never good at baseball again. I think there's a chance that
I think there's a good chance he's good at baseball
He can't
again.
ever get over the pitch tipping. It seemed very mental as well. Baltimore, not as volatile of a market as New York, not even close. The fans love baseball out there, love their team. But I wouldn't feel good as an Orioles fan if I brought in all these Mets guys and one of them was Ryan Helsley.
No, it's a wacky bullpen heading into the season for the Orioles, which is again why I think they had to go out and give him like a bit more money. I still think it's a fair contract.
Also signed him early. I would have let Ryan Helsley sweat.
Well, I mean, all the relievers signed early, dude. What are you talking about? These guys were all signed by December.
But he was like one of the first ones though, I think.
Do you remember we had the rumors that people were looking at him as a starter too, which was crazy?
Stupid.
I remember that was a good May rumor to start the offseason. But this to me is a C plus. This could easily go up to an A, or this could be an F. So I'm going to shoot the middle and go C plus.
I was going to shoot the middle and just go regular C. So
There you
we go. Justin Verlander, 1 year, $13 million, back to the Tigers.
Good for the vibes.
A, because of the vibes. A, because of the story. Justin Verlander should retire a Tiger.
You know they did a press conference with him and he like held up the jersey.
No way.
Hilarious.
That's awesome. Good.
Yeah,
That's all. Justin Verlander, like we got to meet him and interview him when we were with the Mets. Just an awesome guy. And
Really
even
nice.
like watching behind the scenes stuff, he is locked into being good. Like he has no interest in just being a fifth starter. In his mind, he still thinks that he can go out and be a frontline guy, and he will do everything in his power to try and get the most out of his body at the age he's at.
Yes, and it's just fun for the Tigers to get those 100 innings for them.
Yes. A for
A
Justin
plus.
Verlander. Nick Martinez, 1 for 13 to the Rays. A, it's cheap.
I like this because this to me is the Rays being like, now it's time to go back to the old me.
Yes.
Like let's get Nick Martinez at 35 years old. Let's see if we could turn him into Zack Gallen and move him to the trade deadline for a pitcher in Double-A that we like.
Yeah, which, I mean, that's probably exactly what's going to happen. Nick Martinez has no ceiling, but he's got a floor. And at $13 million a year for the innings he'll give you, it's a good contract for anybody.
And like we've seen Nick Martinez just be like solid as hell over the last few years. Like last season specifically wasn't very good, but like the last 2 seasons before that, like he's just going to pitch and probably be relatively effective most of the time.
Peter Fairbanks, 1 year, $13 million. I don't know why I went so formal. Peter Fairbanks. Pete Fairbanks is his name.
Pete.
I know everyone was talking about like, oh, the Mets and all these teams. And what do you know? He ended up just staying in the hot weather place because he does have that condition. 1 year, $13 million with the Marlins. Great. A, I think he's going to be awesome, and they'll trade him at the deadline.
Yeah, it's nice for the Marlins to signal to a young team that played well at the end of last year. Here's a real proven closer, especially because we know Ronnie Henriquez will miss the entire season, your boy. But yeah, A contract just again is a signal to the rest of the squad.
Dustin May getting paid U.S. currency. F.
Yeah, to me, I mean, I'll still give this one a C because like the Cardinals, who cares? Why not? Like just try it. But I don't know if Dustin May has enough of a repertoire to be a successful major league pitcher.
If the Rays were interested, I would have believed. The fact that it's the Cardinals, I'm like, don't care.
Who runs the Cardinals?
Chaim Bloom, I know.
Okay, there you go. So we'll see.
Yeah. Still the Cardinals coaching staff, though.
There you go.
Tyler Rogers, 3 for 37 to the Blue Jays. This is a wacky contract because of just a closer getting paid that, or not a non-closer getting paid that much. But Tyler Rogers is awesome. And one of the reasons why he wasn't as effective with the Mets was because the defense behind him was terrible. The Blue Jays are going to have phenomenal defense. Tyler Rogers is going to be a easy fan favorite in Toronto. This is an A for me.
Yeah, don't forget there's a 4th-year conditional vesting option if he has 60 appearances in 2028 or 110 appearances combined, 27 and 28.
Hey,
so
he'll do all of that. He's never getting hurt.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like if you're going to sign any reliever at 38, it's Tyler Rogers. And the Blue Jays kind of just needed some bullpen insurance because of how much all of those guys pitched last
Literally,
year.
yeah.
Brendan Little, Louis Varland, Jeff Hoffman. Like, you're getting into next season. These guys are like, I don't want to even see a baseball until March 15th.
Marcell Ozuna, F.
Jail.
Jail. Luis Arias, F. I'm going to give this one an F.
I'm going to give this one an F2 just because he's playing second base. But I just can't believe they're going to play him there defensively.
Low-key, maybe the worst contract given out all year. Mike Yastrzemski got 2 years, $23 million. What the fuck? This is an F for me.
I'm going to give this one a C just because he still has a cannon. He probably still has an okay strong side platoon bat.
I think he's going to play every day. They can't platoon. Who are they going to platoon him with?
They have to have someone platoon, but you can't play him against lefties. He's never played against lefties.
Who's another outfielder on that team? They have no depth. Did they sign Austin Slater?
Did they? No, someone else signed Austin Slater. Who signed Austin Slater? Oh, Eli White. Come on.
Gross.
Eli White.
Disgusting.
Who else?
Mike,
perfect.
2 years? I don't think you had to give him 2 years either.
No, this was because Alex Anthopoulos was going to Crete and Athens and Mykonos, so for the whole month of January. So we had to get all these deals done in December.
If this guy fucking wakes up and becomes a great player, the voodoo magic is back. The Braves are winning the World Series.
I mean, he's 35 years old. I don't know if a great player is in the offing, but Mike Yastrzemski has literally never been a bad hitter. So it's just he's probably going to be a slightly above average hitter with the platoon advantage and play decent defense.
Ugh.
It's not that bad of a deal.
Ugh, F.
Not that bad. C.
Kenley Jansen, 1 year, $11 million to the Tigers. A.
This is an A deal. This
Love it.
really did well to deepen their bullpens. Also, again, signaling to a team that's trying to get over the hump. That's that's a Hall of Famer right there.
Adrian Hauser, 2 years, $22 million to the Giants. I'm going to give this one a D only because innings are not cheap, and they got cheap innings.
Yes, I'm going to give this one a D as well because similar to what your line of logic was with Yastrzemski, I didn't think you had to give Adrian Hauser a second year.
You definitely didn't, yeah.
No, and Adrian Hauser credited improving last year to a carnivore diet. Did you see that?
I did see that, which, I mean, I guess I'd try anything if I was him.
Yeah, and also he's not crediting the good, bad, the ball luck. He's crediting the carnivore diet.
That's smart. That's good PR right there. Good spin zone. Brad Keller, 2 years, $22 million to the Phillies. I'm going to give this one a B. I think it's a good move overall. Like, Brad Keller was awesome last year. He was a different pitcher last year. Let me see it one more time.
Yeah, phenomenal reliever. I think this is a good B+. I thought they would try him as a starter, but no indication that will happen.
Luke Weaver, 2 for 22 to the Mets. I'm going to give this one also a B.
Yeah, I'm going to give it another B+. I think these two contracts are signed within an hour of each other for the exact same dollars because I think the Mets wanted Keller, then they also wanted Weaver, but they slightly wanted Keller more. But Weaver's a good reliever. Last year it got weird, but if he's healthy, he's good.
Harrison Bader, 2 for 20 to the Giants. James, grade.
A.
Harrison Bader. I think Harrison Bader's sticky good now, so I'm buying
Harrison Bader's
it.
good. He's probably better center field than Jung Hoo Lee, and you can move Jung Lee to a corner. Will probably be a plus offender there.
City boy, Tyler Mahle, 1 year, $10 million to the Giants.
I think this one's actually an A. I like this one more than Hauser. I mean, you
I
get
like
Hauser
it more than Hauser. I think it's a B, yeah.
You get Hauser for the cheap affordable innings, but now you know that Mahle could easily be better than Hauser. You know, Mahle was good last year, then he got hurt. That's what Tyler Mahle does, but like it's worth a shot. Give him an A.
Are there any others here that you want to highlight? Because we're not going to go through every single one here. Like, I do think Emilio Pagan, back to the Reds, 2 for 20. Great deal. He was awesome last year. Looks like he's just going to be a very good reliever.
I like Cody Ponce a lot, 3 for 30 to the Blue Jays. Especially now what we know about Shane Bieber. I think he's going to be a good pitcher. I really do. I think the velocity.
I'm concerned about a guy who dominated the KBO but struggled in the MPB, and he struggled the last time he was in the MPB and dominated the KBO, and the KBO is like barely AA.
He did, but he was in the MPB first before the KBO, and apparently the velocity has ticked up since he switched.
Okay, all right, maybe velocity play. Let me see it.
So if he's just sitting 96, I think there's almost no doubt he'll be at least quality.
Love the Kyle Finnegan contract. I think that was a good move for the Tigers. He looked awesome with that new way he was pitching out there.
Yep, that was a great one. Seranthony Dominguez also just fun to the White Sox, just to again have a veteran on that team. He's like the 4th highest paid player in the team now, which is hilarious.
I'm trying to see if there's any other fun ones here. I mean, I just am going to highlight the Rockies signing pitchers that are going to get nuked in Colorado, which is crazy.
I think Hunter Harvey won for $6 million to the Cubs is a very fun one. I think that let's see, Kirby Yates even just to the Angels is like let's keep trying the same stuff. Caleb Ferguson and Pierce Johnson to the Reds, really good by them to strengthen the meat of that bullpen.
Chris Paddock to the Marlins. That's an interesting one to keep an eye out for. $4 million. That's the Griffin Canning contract. Give him a shot.
I'm coming home, play the song. Chris Martin back to the Rangers for $4 million. Like he might lead that team in saves.
Ooh, man, there are some players on here that I didn't even realize signed with some of these teams. Ooh, Alek Manoah to the Angels. Talk about a weird one. The money doesn't matter. This is now just a conversation of like, I guess we'll see what Fat Alec has.
I mean, Christopher Morel in the Marlins, so it's a why not contract.
Eric Fetty is getting paid money, American dollars. That's an F.
The Mets having a fourth outfielder battle between MJ Melendez and Mike Tauchman's kind of great. That's like $2 million total for those two guys.
Tyler Austin is going to be the platoon for Michael Busch, it looks like, at first base against tough lefties. He mashed lefties.
His stats in the KB, he was like one of the greatest offensive players in the KBO seen in like a generation. He was unbelievable last year. I got the stats pulled up.
Was
right
he
now.
KB? I think he was MPB.
MPB.
Yeah,
2 years ago,
Lewin Diaz was the KBO guy who put up like an 1,800 OPS.
two years ago when he was healthy, Tyler Austin had a 197 WRC plus in the MPB with a 600 slug percentage.
I'm gonna leave you. I mean, that's great. That's nuts. I'm gonna leave you with one more contract to talk about, and then we'll talk about just a random name on here that you think could end up being like in that cheap tier that's going to be a big impact for a team this year.
Okay.
Let's talk about Nick Castellanos for a second.
Oh, yeah.
I think that him to the Padres is one of the worst fits in baseball.
I think it's a good fit because the Padres desperately need human bodies who can play like with Major League Baseball experience.
Sure, I'm more talking about what's going on with Nick Castellanos on a personal level because it seems like he is just, for lack of a better term, just a mega douchebag.
Huge, big, really good news. Padres manager Craig Stammen, he played Major League Baseball. So Nick Castellanos will respect him.
What about their hitting coach? Who's their hitting coach, the Padres? Padres coaching staff. We got to look into this. Who is their coaching staff? Their hitting coach is Ryan Goins. Ryan Goins.
Two guys who put the cleats on, like Castellanos said.
Lied. Steven Souza Jr. is the hitting coach. He also
another one.
He played the game. All right. Wow. Their entire coaching staff is basically guys who played the game.
Well, I think he's there. That's it.
Okay. I mean, he'll be happy. He'll be happy. Maybe it's a better fit. I don't know. I don't like a team that already has like a weird chip on their shoulder with like kind of some personalities that are a little arrogant at times to bring in another just asshole who, for lack of a better term, gave up on his team.
Yeah, I think that this Padres team maybe we'll do something like the nuclear blow up index. Talk about teams who could be this year's Braves, and I think like Padres, Phillies, even the Mets are going to be teams that will be on that list for us.
Yes, definitely. Okay, now who's your weird contract that you just like low key love?
I low key think that like Jordan Montgomery could get it back. Is that crazy to say? Like I think he can get it back. Sam
That's
Hentges,
a fun one.
Right? Sam Hentges is a crazy looking reliever from the left side who was like he's like 6'10". Kind of throws gas. Also, like Colin Holderman could still find it back with the Guardians over there. Shout out their bullpen coach Brad Goldberg. Go Bucks.
Go Bucks.
He's my guy.
My fun ones. I got to start off. I'll never give up on Christopher Morel, and the fact that the Marlins are the new Rays. That's the one that I'm circling. Is like keep an eye out for him. Also, your boy Eric Wagaman. He hits the ball way too hard and doesn't swing and miss.
I tell you this all the time when you chastise me.
Yeah, because he sucks. But like,
data.
Good data. That's a data play. And then on the pitching side, I know he's had so many injuries recently, and if the Astros didn't want him, there's probably a good reason why. Jose Urquidy to the Pirates, I think, is a fun chaos depth guy for them that probably stumbles his way into some starts this year as long as he's healthy.
I really liked at the time when the Dodgers took their flyer to Andy Ibanez, but I think they've already cut him.
I believe so.
And I think he's already signed. Now I'll give the Athletics credit because I think he can just be a great glue guy on that team.
I guess also keep an eye out too for Sung Mun Song.
Sun Moon Sung.
Yeah, Sun Moon Song, who signed a 4-year deal with the Padres. I will be honest, I don't know anything about him, but
he was
KBO guy.
KBO guy, late bloomer in the KBO, came in as a very contact-oriented guy that I think is going to be a plus defender. So I think he's going to be the glue guy for the Padres.
Also, last one, again, I've said this a million times, but Tyler Kinley was awesome with the Braves down the stretch. He was incredible. Got out of Coors, went to Atlanta, was really good. They brought him back. It was cheap. I was honestly shocked nobody else tried to make a move for him because the stuff was so good outside of Coors.
I have another ridiculous one.
All right, last one.
Akil Baddoo. That was like one of the first moves that happened this offseason. You just know the Brewers are going to get something out of Akil Baddoo.
They have to. That's why they signed him.
Jason Foley, similar. I think he's still coming off his injury, but he has demon stuff when he's on the mound.
What team did he sign with?
The Giants. They need any help they can get in that bullpen, so he could possibly be that. Also, Brian Yarbrough, like he's probably going to get some meaningful starts for the Yankees with their starting pitching woes, and it's fun to have guys like Yarbrough in the league. I'm going to tune into a few Yarbrough starts and enjoy the 3 innings he pitches.
Throws as hard as Ranger Suarez.
Throws as hard as he can.
That's it. Those are our grades for all the signings this offseason. Let us know in the comment section if we missed any that you wished we talked about. I can't imagine you wanted to hear us talk about Ryan Stanek, but we could have. We just don't think it's a good move. Let us know if you subscribed. Subscribe to the channel. Do that. Shout out our members. You can follow James on social media at
James Shiano.
I'm Giraffe Neck Mark. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.